It's the Carbon Monoxide News Weekly Recap for April 13th through 19th, 2020. I'm Bob Dwyer with the Carbon Monoxide Safety Association. These stories and other links can be found at www.cosafety.blogspot.com, the Carbon Monoxide News. And those stories are put up daily. We'll be looking at a story link where there was a death by a boiler, a couple found dead in a mini storage unit, recreational vehicle poisoning, more cooking accidents, more pollution, more deaths, carbon monoxide in construction, and we're going to take a look at saving others, and we'll note a few links that from our archives that remind us of a few more carbon monoxide deaths and those that were impacted by that, and in some cases what they're continuing to do in memory of those deaths. And you know, at the Carbon Monoxide Safety Association, carbon monoxide poisoning, it really knows no season. Again, if you go to that blog site and look through the archives, you can see that every season there's carbon monoxide hazards and there's carbon monoxide injuries. So let's be safe with carbon monoxide. We'll take a look at our first story. And it happens to be a sad story. Mother and the Davenport bars warn about the importance of carbon monoxide detectors. So it's been about 2 months. This story out of WHBF, ourquadcities.com. 2 months. Kevin Soap died back in February due to carbon monoxide poisoning. The night before, his mom said he had told us he was having trouble with his boiler furnace, but I had no idea. I didn't even think about carbon monoxide. Well, remember and hope, and that's what they want. Their fundraiser to put carbon monoxide detectors in homes so that others will not die from carbon monoxide poisoning. Others have died before Kevin. Taking a look at Jeffrey Lee Williams. Jeannie Williams, his mom, started this foundation way back in 2003 after losing her son to carbon monoxide poisoning. And out of the Carbon Monoxide News archives, in remembrance, Minnesota law requiring carbon monoxide detectors on boats, it wins national recognition. Well, you know, I'm sure Sophia's parents would rather have her than this national recognized award. But this law, in remembrance of Sophia, hopefully people will listen and it will save lives. And again, out of our archives, a family sends message about CO poisoning after deaths of loved ones. Losing a son and losing my fiancé, I'm really reaching out to people right now to let them know the importance of checking all of these things, because I don't want this to happen to anyone. More reminders from our archives. They have turned a tragic story of a 12-year-old boy dying accidentally from carbon monoxide poisoning into a wonderful thing by making sure this doesn't happen to other families. Always remembering, and most people in the United States and around the world have never heard of Nicole, but there's a law named after Nicole. The law is named for this 7-year-old who died in January of 2005 when the heating vent in her house was blocked by snowdrifts. Again, more sadness from our archives, but its neighbors remembers a neighbor killed by carbon monoxide after a woman lost her husband to carbon monoxide poisoning. Every little touch, every help. Carbon monoxide poisoning, let's prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. So someone said, enough, I've seen enough news stories. But listen, a piece of my heart will always be broken. A sister says, the sister found dead, and she was unconscious and woke up and found that her sister had died. Again, reaching out to people, please protect yourself. There's always reminders. Matthew initially thought he had food poisoning and said it felt like being drunk. He had no control whatsoever. And now he wonders sometimes why I survived and they didn't. the man who lost two best friends to carbon monoxide. And we can keep looking in our archives. They go on, teaching the dangers of CO. Like most mothers, Kesling was devastated by the loss of her daughter. However, she and her family took their grief and turned it into something beautiful by founding the Lindsay O'Brien Kesling Wishing Tree Foundation. Carbon monoxide deaths, they have taken place. Unfortunately, they will take a place. Our archives, you can find more stories of sadness, and also where people experiencing sadness are reaching out to try to stop the poisoning from occurring if they can help it. And they are helping tremendously. And while some carbon monoxide caused deaths are remembered, there's new CO deaths occurring. We have got to get our carbon monoxide alarms. We have got to get our boilers and our heating equipment tested and tuned up. We have got to pay attention to the hazards of carbon monoxide. We have to know what can cause it. We have to know what the symptoms are. Carbon monoxide poisoning, it's a real threat yesterday and today and tomorrow. And we look at last week's news link. Police, 2 found dead in a storage unit, died of carbon monoxide poisoning. You take a look at that small space. Close the door. You cannot have a car running. I don't care how cold it is or how hot it is for air conditioning. Please, let's not do this. And out of the Jasper Herald, the Jasper Volunteer Fire Department attended fires, carbon monoxide alarms, construction work being performed at the home created a problem that involved fumes from a boiler on one of them, according to the chief. So let's pay attention. Let's have our personal monitors and let's have our carbon monoxide alarms in place so that if we are having work done and something occurs, an early response lets us know before anybody gets hurt or sick. Out of Lake City, on the scene, EMS found 10 victims, including 2 adults and 8 children. They were suffering the effects of carbon monoxide poisoning. When you take a look at these types of living spaces, whether they're called motorhomes, recreational vehicles, RVs, caravans, they have the potential to hurt you from combustion gases. And many of them may have up to 5 combustion sources. So let's be careful. This headline is loud and clear. 2 house fires in Los Angeles County leave 3 people dead. Again, do you have alarms? And remember, you have less than 3 minutes. What is your escape route? 2 fires in 24 hours blamed on 3rd floor balcony barbecues. Fire service calls for common sense. Common sense. And let's guard those fires. Let's not leave them alone. From the Spokesman Review, Spokane Valley Fire Roundup, unattended cooking fire. Unattended cooking fires, fireplace, carbon monoxide, more emergency calls. These fire departments are busy. Again, another barbecue fire on a back deck. Let's be careful. From KenoraOnline.com, fire safety during COVID-19. We are spending a lot of time at home. Right now, if there was a fire, look around. Where would you go? Where are your children? Where's everybody else in your building? Regardless of the circumstances, additional time at home with family members provides an excellent opportunity to discuss fire safety and review your home fire escape plan. Again, from the fire departments all over the world, what is your escape route? From the Nantucket Island Inquirer and from the Nantucket Fire Chief, Stephen Murphy, I would ask everyone on the island to make sure they have working smoke alarms on every floor of their home. There were no working smoke or carbon monoxide alarms found in the home. Fire department determines the cause of the Old South Road fire. And out of Northeast now, the Melfort fire adjusting processes and equipment during the pandemic. Like fire departments everywhere, crews are also wearing medical exam gloves and their regular boots while using their regular suits. At minimum, if any members come into contact with the public during a call, crews will respond with their full turnout gear and self-contained breathing apparatus. Read more of Northeast Now This is what fire departments are doing all over the world. Boy, if it's not tough enough for emergency responders while they take care of others, their homes are being damaged by tornadoes. Let's give a shout out to the firefighters everywhere. You've got triple duties, quadruple duties. They're also sending out messages after these storms. Generator exhaust contains carbon monoxide, a poison you cannot see or smell. They're only to be used outside and away from people, far away from people. And we're still using our chimneys out of the Del Mar Times. Let's get those chimneys clean. Chimney Sweeps continues to provide critical services during the COVID-19 time. Some of these clients rely on their chimneys as their primary source of heat. Chimney fires, let's prevent them, let's get them cleaned. And more news from the Waterbury Republican American, beware of after-storm hazards. Again, keep those generators far away from your buildings, far away from where you are, and far away from where anyone will breathe in the combustion gases. And it is not business as usual during COVID-19, says Fire Chief. Out of the Bay today, along with other essential services, the fire department has had to implement safeguards and physical distancing protocols in the workplace. For residents living in apartments, we still have to practice social distancing. When you experience a fire alarm, we still must practice social distancing for the safety of the neighbors and responding emergency personnel. Do not congregate in the lobby area and exit the building completely. And when the alarm sounds, do not cluster in groups when exiting. CO and smoke and fire can move through a building quickly. Again, reminder of the coronavirus rules. What is your escape plan? What is your escape plan? Practice fire safety. When the alarm sounds, what do you do? And a brief escape from COVID-19, the fire departments across South Florida show thanks to those practicing social distancing. We know there's many that aren't. The firefighters, the emergency responders, the medical teams and personnel all over the world are asking us to social distance, please. And in Miami, the sirens across South Florida could be heard Friday night, but not because of an emergency. Fire departments across town showed their appreciation to Good Samaritans for practicing social distancing. In this headline, air pollution may affect the lethality of COVID-19 from Medical News Today. Well, the information in this story that you can find at cosafety.blogspot.com is similar to a lot of the stories that have come through the wire services, the internet services, the last couple days, the last week. More and more people are making this discovery, more researchers, more scientists. Air pollution may affect the lethality of COVID-19. Air pollution is affecting our health before COVID-19 came on to the stage. Well, that takes us to the end of this portion of the CO News Weekly Recap Summary for April 13th through 19th, 2020. I said this portion, there were so many stories about pollution and so many stories about air quality, so many stories about the impact of air quality and pollution on the human respiratory system that I'm going to continue with another segment. So again, today on this particular segment, we covered death by boiler, a couple found dead in a mini storage, recreational vehicle poisoning, cooking accidents, again, fire accidents, barbecues on decks, more pollution and more deaths, CO and construction problems. And we also went back in our archives to remember those that have passed from carbon monoxide and their family members, remembering them, their town remembering them, their communities remembering them, and the good fortune that they're providing now in trying to prevent others from perishing from carbon monoxide poisoning. I'm Bob Dwyer with the Carbon Monoxide Safety Association. Let's be CO safe.